Kurtçu from Turkey.
Madam President and dear colleagues, in the spring session we had drawn the Assembly's attention to the 24 June snap general elections in Turkey, which would decide whether the country would fall under one-man rule or it would reclaim parliamentary rule and refute the illiberal and anti-democratic ambitions which turned Turkey away from the rule of law, democracy and human rights. And we called the pace to follow the 24 June snap elections with a well-formed observation mission and with its utmost attention. And the observation mission has already declared their preliminary report. According to official results, incumbent President Erdogan, in the most unequal and unjust elections of the modern Turkish history, has ascended to presidency, and his alliance of people has secured more than the absolute majority of the seats in the Turkish parliament. This is the end of parliamentary rule in Turkey. Turkey on 16 April 2017, through an anti-democratic referendum, voted a series of anti-democratic constitutional amendments in order to bring the country under the presidential governmental system, a one-man rule free of checks and balances, and a blunt refusal of Council of Europe values, democracy, rule of law and human rights. 24 June snap elections had provided the last opportunity for the country to contest the 16 March referendum results. Nevertheless, to repeat the words of the PACE election observation delegation, the restrictive legal framework and powers granted under the ongoing state of emergency restricted freedoms of assembly and expression, including in the media, particularly for the democratic forces and the opposition in general. Most popular broadcast media outlets affiliated with the government, the ruling party and the incumbent were covered by these more often and more favorably, including by the public broadcaster, limiting the balanced information about the constituents available to voters. At least 1,090 polling stations were moved and merged based on security considerations, which was seen by the opposition as a measure aiming to lower voter turnout in specific areas. Sessions of election boards at all levels were closed, and decisions were not published in a systematic or timely manner. These decisions and the lack of transparency eroded confidence in the election administration at all levels, the observers said. The very active and energetic campaigning by the opposition parties, in spite of all restrictions and persecutions, and the relentless urge for reclaiming democracy, remains as the only positive aspect of the 24 June elections. Selahattin Demirtas, the jailed former chair of the HDP, who ran for presidency from his prison cell, and the party itself, with thousands of activists still in prison, has appeared as the real winner of the 24 June elections in gaining the third place in the parliament with 67 seats and refreshing hopes for a way out with renewed zeal in the forthcoming local elections scheduled for March 2019. We congratulate Turkey's democratic opposition and particularly the HDP and send our greetings and solidarity with Selahattin Demirtas and call the PACE do all they can do to free Demirtas. Long live democratic forces of Turkey.